those who are out there, I decided to make a live today. It's Sabbath day, and yes, we do got to keep it holy. And this is one of the times where I'm actually stationed somewhere. So this is what I'm doing. So I wonder what y'all doing on Sabbath day. Are y'all in that word? You just resting and spending time with your loved ones? And that's the deal right there. There were some recent stories about someone who worked 7 days a week, and they lost their life when they finally went to lay on down. They lost their life because the body is met. That's why we have jobs where you have to have a day off, at least one day. You have to have one day, and then they're soon probably going to be breaking them down as you see through the year, probably less days, because they're just doing all kinds of studies and research, and it's all about the dollar. Everything is surrounded about that money. So, you know, um, it's good to take time to enjoy. We don't want to be too, you know, there's some things that people have it wrong about Sabbath day, and they forget when Jesus had died on that cross that there's some things that you can do. There's some things that you can do on Sabbath day that God is not calling you out. If if I if I wash out a dish, am I going to hell? No, I'm not. you know, if I warm something in the microwave, is God gonna put me in hell? No, he's not, because he's telling you the things that put you in hell, which is in Revelations 21:8. That's what sends you to hell. And the people who be sitting up there crying and whining and complaining about it, they be doing the very same thing that God said that'll put you in hell. So, and this is the beauty of serving Christ, that even if you got it wrong, you can always repent. You see how simple it is to serve the Most High. It's those things make it simple. Now you have to be tested and tried. You have to be tested and tried when you go to the Most High. He has His life for you, and I'm just saying that God knows that we make mistakes. He knows that we fall short of His glory. But in trying to do the best you can, and Him all seeing and all knowing, you have to repent. And when I say repent, that means you're going to try to do not to do what you did again. If God is showing you correction, that's where you turn to the Most High and say, Lord, forgive me of my sins. And I'm really trying to ask you to help me so I don't do these things again. And that's what I'm saying, y'all. A lot of people don't want our God, and it's a lot because of the false documentation, a misuse and mistreat, and people thinking that people ain't watching them when they really are. That they that's the part of it. They're saying you can't be that good. You can't be that good. And that's where the curiosity of the world get. You can't just be that good. Let me find a flaw in you. And I said, you ain't gonna just find one, you're gonna find many. Because God's not looking for perfect people. He wants people who are willing to admit, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. And that I'm trying to get my life together. And, I unfortunately, God put me in one hell of a test, but He knew that I was strong. And it's mostly about those who's trying to be in Freemason or act like they in Freemason, do humiliation rituals. And I've been very confident of who I was, and there's some things that I don't like about myself, which is any person. It's okay to say there's certain things I don't like, but in the midst of it all, it is what it is. It's there because it's there. And when God has it for you, just like He did before, I didn't like being overweight. I was really overweight. I didn't like that. And I did things to work out. And he was waiting for me to submit wholeheartedly to him. And when I got before the Most High, found out that I'm not resting enough. That's what was keeping me from really shedding those pounds, is to sit back and relax. He was literally guiding me through things, especially with the Daniel fast. I was not a vegetable person because I think I come from a household with meat and potatoes. We got to add some meat with that. And literally, God showed me different ways on how to eat vegan, and I can actually do that. I could actually do that for a lifetime because God has opened up the door and shown me. Because I know a lot about cooking, and I'm not afraid to learn new recipes and stuff. And that's what He did for me, and I shared it. Especially with doing the 40 days and 40 nights, I lost every bit of that weight to the point that my ex-husband at the time, when he came to visit the children, he looked at me and said, "You losing weight? You okay?" Because there's some things you don't notice. He had some things going on. So, but he's like, "You losing weight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you could tell." I mean, even though I knew, you could tell. But I'm just saying, it's nothing for me to get back on track. But I mean, the most thing is I have to quit saying those things because the enemy, I have to, I don't want to be trapped out. You know what I mean? If I lost my weight, I'm not giving them something to look at. But health wise, I'm saying, yeah, I got to do something. I got to get back. I got to get in with the Most High because it's hard to walk this walk alone. But when you have things going on in your life and you're not trusting people, and you're not supposed to, when you're being targeted, at this length or gang stalked, you can't trust people. Um, Everybody. No, I'm just saying all in. And then there's sometimes that God give me the right of way and say, okay, this is good. There's sometimes, and that's why I encourage people to get into the Most High. You got you got to know Him for yourself. Um, I was just looking at this thing about Donald Trump, and it said that he had this, and I put it on my channel, that he had the vein, whatever it is, disease, where he stands too much, or probably because he takes a lot of flights. And that was a concern to me because I stand all the time. You know, um, I don't like sitting too much on the ground. You know what I mean? So yep, I'm standing. And so in certain areas you're not gonna want to sit because they be just doing stuff. These little homeless people. But I'm just saying, like, when you're knowing that people think they know what's best for you. You know, when you're doing biblical things, everybody think everything got to go the way it says in the Bible. And when you have your relationship with the Most High, He can tell you, I want you to not do this, but can you do that? If you have that relationship, you're going to hear it. And some people don't. And then that's where I have this monitoring thing about on me, whereas people just keep trying to use the satanic gadgets and devices to try to tell me things. And I'm saying, okay, but you still trying to monitor and watch and keep up with me. So before you try to check me on something that I'm doing, you got to stop doing what you're doing. And that's where I can do what I want to do, but I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm doing what God called me to do. And the thing is, they think you're supposed to tell them. The enemy think you're supposed to tell them, this is what I'm doing. And I don't tell everything. Some things I do keep and withhold. And it's just a shame, that people would misuse God's people or people in general, thinking that they're going to lose their life because just so they can get into a sorry occult. You know what I mean? That has no value. You're still trying to use people, especially people at the Most High. And that's where I don't have no fear in this because, if you're using people of the Most High, then you're gonna be hurt. You ain't never supposed to put a child of Yah in this. And so that's where I just, you know, you know, um, stay in the will of Psalms 37. He gave me this situation, told me to look at that Bible years ago, and he's saying, "No, I'm not going nowhere. It's the ones that keep on traveling up here and gang stalking things. Y'all gonna lose your life." It says that you will look for them and you see them no more. You know, he said their power will be destroyed. There's certain many things that God has saying that you ain't going first. It's them, and they have. They've been leaving, and they try to push it underneath the rug. One of their little trap artists die, whatever they do. You know what I mean? And there's nothing, and they just want you to talk some things out to see where your head is at. So what can we do to defeat you? And that's where I say, if you not knowing what you're saying, be careful, because that's what they all about. Trying to figure what makes you fearful. And you know what makes me afraid? And they can document this. $20 million in both hands. I'm scared of that. That's all they gonna get for me. Now, if they put $20 million in my hand, then I'm afraid. That might make me spaz out. But I guarantee you, they ain't gonna do that as fast as they do the other stuff. So I'm just saying, you have to watch what you say when you're on social media. As you see, they're all about playing things out, and when they play things out, and you have the covering of the Most High, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because God's going to protect you, and even then, He sees them. And a lot of them don't sleep well at night. The wicked gets no peace. They don't sleep well at night. So everything that they're trying to do to hurt and misuse you, it's just a fool. And they get to the point where even when I'm trying to do this live stream, I don't know if they're on the next door here or whatever, but you know, the control isn't with whoever they are. It's with the Most High. And God's been pruning me and shaping me for these days. He's been trying to get me to fight spiritually mostly, but physical. I have to sometimes, because some people, if you put your hands on me, listen, I'm not letting you just do this. Like I said, I got hit in my face with a man, and so um, I'm just gonna stay away from you. And this man has, um, in the past, been following me around, everywhere I go. And there's some places, if you're at a homeless shelter, you're gonna be, but there's some places that I go that he don't, and he's there. And like I said, um, there's nothing more we can do. And I know he keep beating himself up every day, because I'm a good person. You know what I mean? He had some stuff that he was trying to get. I don't know if he got it through another homeless shelter that I had signed up for. I ain't forgot. You know what I mean? And I'd rather give it to a female than him. It was like tinting stuff and a bike that he kept trying to get me to get the bike, you know, and I'd rather give that to a woman, you know, not him. And that's where he was saying that he was my wife, and I'm never going to marry someone like that. Anybody who can't keep their hands to themselves, it's not going to be me that's hurting, it's going to be you. I'm just making that plain. This is not where we at here in 2025. Tanya has took some beatings, but it ain't gonna be by some bum on the street. I'm telling the truth. Yeah, because I promise you, I saw a way to defeat you, and everything would have came. The whole protocol would have been there. The police, the ambulance, the EMTs, everybody would have been there if I would have did what I was thinking to do, and I chose not to do it because I had other things to do. But I'm telling you, don't be sleeping on no woman just because she a woman. You go putting your hands on someone, because Tanya gonna get you one way or another. She gonna get you, and that's just how it go. So, I mean, peace. I don't want to hit on my brothers and sisters. So don't you do. Don't you do. Especially you don't know nothing. I ain't got no hair to pull, so you gonna be hurt. But anyway, on another level, I'm just trying to really get people to understand that, you know, people concern themselves with what I'm doing. Excuse me, I'm gonna drink this. They concern themselves. People be worried. You're all alone. You're by yourself. Yeah, I have to be. That's the only way you're really gonna defeat targeting. I mean, you can move around and don't completely isolate yourself from people. Kick it with them for a few. Go on. You know what I mean? Kick it with them for a few. Go on. You know what I mean? Um, if it feels like you need to talk to people, because there's just some people, that do that to me. They're from the moment you wake up, they want to know how are you feeling, because they've already lied on you and said that you're just this person ready to explode. And so that's where they have this chit chat with you to see, there she goes, because they've been hyping and lying on you. That's how they get that check. They have to get that check to lie on you and say that you something, or going to be something, and it just puts fear in people's heart, and that it's more that we're just a pawn, and the people around, they're the joke, because they believe what they're saying. In order to get a check, you got to believe what's being said, and they just keep doing their little thing. They keep, everywhere I go, they're wanting to move in, because it was a point that I sat there and I watched when I went to one hotel. They had no idea. I'm sitting right in front row and I could see all the people, like that person comes from Rockford. I'm sitting right here looking out the window and saying, yep, that person's from Rockford. I didn't video record it, but I could see, some of them didn't come from Rockford, but I could recognize them. See, when they keep thinking that they can outsmart God's people. But well, so that just clarifies that. So whether they believe me or not, I seen it. So while they sitting here creeping around here and using the little satanic gadget device, they don't have much time here. God's not. God is preparing a whole new world, and this system, especially right here in Georgia, is garbage. You know what I mean? You know, it's garbage because people aren't voicing the problems that they have. They're just letting people just do anything out of fear. But not me. I keep trying to get rid of the same caseworkers and they still keep coming back. That ain't doing what I need to be done. I got rid of the therapist. Well, I didn't try to get rid of them, but I'm saying, what's the point of me having a therapist and people trying to monitor what I'm saying to her or him? So, I don't really need the therapy. I mean, you know what I mean? It's good to have it, but it's not where I need to hit hard at to deal with all of this. And if people just gonna be sitting back just so they can make fun of me, then you might as well do that, because that's the only thing they're trying to let me have is Medicaid, even though I'm needing food stamps and all that stuff so I can get my own place. It adds to my income of what I'm trying to do, and that's why I had it. And to get the help that I need, I had it there, and then they took that away, and then they took um, my income away, my other, and I know. I mean, I have what I have, and I'm not afraid of none of that. What God has for me, no man can take away. You know what I mean? I'm still going to continue to do what I need to do. And for those who's sitting back who should be helping me and they not, they letting that stuff get to them, then they're gonna have their day. Remember, God tests people, and he there's a reason I say that he put us saints, he put us saints in places and situations to see, because you're just saying it's just only me, but you don't see my angels. You don't see the Most High sitting there saying, I'm seeing what you're going to do, because you don't know what test I'm going to put you through. And you're going to want somebody to do, and most likely it's going to be similar to what I'm going through. It's going to be similar, and I don't want that hand to come at you, because I have that thing when you should have done me right, and that hand come out. That means that you're looking for me to do what's right when you didn't. Especially some of these YouTubers. I don't know. You know what I mean? Today is a reminder, the anniversary of going to the gym of hell. You know what I mean? I tried to fight to get my money back from that. I was taking a real risk because I really thought that this was going to be a community. You know what I mean? I really thought that people were about their word and really wanting to come away from the things that we have to deal with in these regular communities and have our own. You know what I mean? That's what I thought it was a real deal. And I put my money towards it. And when I try to talk to the person, they just running away. And, it's a shame. How are you going to be a pillar and you running away? Because somebody's saying something, or you scared to say something. So, and they just keep making all these little documentations of this little nigga. You know what I mean? I'm living my own life. I'm having my little latte here. Hold on. Whatever it is trying to tug on me really wants me to click up with New Breed, and I'm, you know, and the satanic gadgets and devices. So I'm saying, what kind of deal y'all got? If you want to click up with him, go click up with him. You know, I don't know. I had no idea he's still rolling with his channels. I've been unsubscribed on every last one of his channels, and it's nothing personal. It's just that I had a business idea that you were gonna at least hear me out for at least 5 minutes, and then here I am, you doing things like passing the mic around me and things like that. So I don't know what was that about, and we just can't have that kind of thing in our community. Everybody else, they was wonderful. Everybody else, showed love. We did everything that a community did. Is just, I guess because the computer glitch, they was just, I don't know. But I still got love for my brother and his heart, because targeting ain't easy. So I don't know. With these kind of manipulative narcissists, they want a piece of the pie too. You see a brother out there trying to do something in life, and here that's what our community does. They keep trying to, them and the police, they keep trying to drag them. Even with this Beyonce thing at the concert here in Atlanta, here they is trying to grab a niche on him. You know what I mean? Just stay out of that. Leave that alone. Always looking for a hustle, and that's where I release these kind of people. I release them, and they want to get up with New Breed. They probably have better chance than I do to talk to him, because I have nothing really to say. All I was looking for was my money back, and I just gave up. I don't know what he got going on, so I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say. But that's where I look for. Are you business savvy? Do you at least hear the people out? And so hopefully he heard someone else out. I don't take it personal. I don't know, because of the targeting. Who knows? You know, they don't like me and they don't like him. That's all I know. So I hope you know that. No matter what they saying, they don't like me and they ain't liking you. So, you know, what's done is done, and I just wish the best for that brother. You know, all in all, I did have a good time. I got to speak to people, and I got to meet some decent people. I had pictures, because I need to bring my pictures back. that I did take. I had a picture of Brainwave. Brainwave it. I didn't expect to take a picture with him. That was funny. But just like at the last minute, he was like, "Let's take a picture," and I was like, "Yeah, let's take a picture." And he took a picture, and then I'm like, he grabbed me. He had grabbed me so tight. Like, whoa. No, so I don't think nobody calling him gay because he's not gay. He's not gay. Okay, he's a. You know how to grab a woman. So I'm just saying, yeah. It wasn't nothing freaky going on. I'm just saying, well, he knows how to grab a woman. Okay, congratulations to his wife. So he's not gay. Okay. But he grabbed me and I was like, whoa. And we took the picture because I was kind of shocked. And he was like, "You want to do it again?" And I was like, "No, because you got a wife." So and I'm not saying he was trying to, you know, make a move on me. He just was saying, "I understand that people acting funny here." You know what I mean? So that's my brother. And happy birthday to him again. You know what I mean? He was like a helper to me. That's the only good thing. I'm just remembering the good things. Him, he's such a helper to me. Then, when we was going to get something to eat, you seen King Connect. He was there, and you know what I'm saying. I'm like, oh my god, I know people say, what? That's just a. He's like, I'm just a regular YouTube baby. Come on now. And I know, I truly do enjoy and love his music. So yeah, and I could tell that he's gonna be someone that's going far in life. You know what I mean? So I went ahead and got my picture, took my picture with the brother. I'm gonna bring some of them up. I got this new phone, so I gotta rework and get them back out. But I took a picture with him. I took some pictures of other people. Other people were there. Um, some of the other people, I can't remember that one lady. And I've been looking for her. She's just the sweetest pie. She had gave us some Bojangles chicken because she was trying to understand why, my son and then was sitting in there. She's just so sweet. And so, they eat that chicken, and I'm just saying, like, they had burgers and stuff. I just, they just was still trying to get stuff together. That's why I was asking, y'all want me to help? But, I guess he's the one in control, Mr. New Bleed. You know what I mean? And that was a red flag to me because I'm saying, where's Ringo and them? Because I was wanting to meet Ringo, Mark the Messenger. You know what I mean? All the other artists that he's worked with. Like, where everybody at? Why are these people not here? And I couldn't figure it out, and that's when I kind of figured like, maybe they was on the flight thing. I don't know. And it's a lot of people. Not only besides him. That's through his connect that I wanted to see. Um, there was another little short lady. I forgot her name. She's just sweet. I think it's Charity. Sweet young lady. I ain't seen nothing wrong with her. So we talked. Everybody talked. She had her Kent on the other side. There's people. I just pretty much talked to just about everybody there. There were some that came in later and I didn't. There's some content creators that I've seen that came in and I was just like, oh, it's just hot. You know what I mean? And so that was my second day, and I was trying to stretch the third day, and I just was like, I might be mad if you don't talk to me the third day. You know what I mean? Because this is his whole event. I didn't want him to be, or me. I wasn't uncomfortable because I don't care. I'm gonna be with him, but I didn't know that I was uncomfortable to him, and you know. So I met a lot of people. I'm trying to think, well, who else did I see on there? A lot of the truck drivers that was there, because they had truck drivers there. I don't know why, but they were there. I met the the Caucasian, the one that I talked to that said he had talked to Newbie Global, and his mother. They had drove far away, and those were the first, one of the second people I got to talk to. I enjoyed talking to them and getting to know them. You know, they're such helpers. Um, you know, so Of course, Yitawaze, I talked to him. His wife, you know what I'm saying? Hebrew Claire, I love him. I gotta find him on my TikTok channel. But I love Hebrew Claire. You know, that's Yitawaze's parents. So they was the ones making the ices and the cotton. I don't think they made cotton candy, but they made ices though, snow cones and stuff. You know, and they had their luxurious skincare and things. You know that I didn't get to buy exactly, but I'm still there. I'm still there, y'all. You know, they have some very luxurious stuff. You know, like the smells are heavenly, for real, for real. So I got to chit chat with them. You know what I mean? Just wonderful, wonderful thing, wonderful day. Some of the fellas out there, you know, they was all playing football. You know, it was really hot, and they was all playing football. So I was there. You know, I just kind of was, you know, more attending to my children because it was really hot, and my son has, we try to still work things out by saying autism. You know, we still work through things and still do things. We're not letting nothing hold us back. So that's where I am. But that was a wonderful thing that had happened, you know, if everything else didn't happen. But it was a prophecy that the Most High told me that I was going to meet Mr. Newbury himself. And, you know, I did. And it wasn't the way I wanted to. And that's okay. It's okay. God still did his thing. So it didn't make me look a liar. So, you know, this was the day. And, I don't know how other content creators going to say about it or know about it. But it's definitely something I'm never going to forget. Um, it's some of it's great, and then it's some of it, you know, it's a sadness because of what I was looking for, and it wasn't much. It's just the understanding of people, who they are, and building with people, and that's where I was going with that. Even though I was struggling with homelessness, but I'm saying maybe this could be something that I understand, but God always wants you to know who you're dealing with, and I'm still don't know who I'm dealing with because I've never gotten a response with this person because of whatever he set up on through the targeting. You don't know. That's why I can't not like someone, but for all in all, we ain't got time to be sitting around worrying about it. I don't make no side deals with nobody. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get in Freemason, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody. So it's just better for me to just back out of stuff and move on. You know, my family members, they just, some of them, and they're not even, some of them ain't even my family members. They just all about the hurt because they can't control somebody like me. You know what I mean? I'm my own person. I'm going to always be who I am. And no, as I get older, it's more about my children than anything else. We're talking about physical, but of course, the Most High is number one. But, some people get caught up in what I used to be because they missed out on who they thought I was. And that's a thing when you're breaking away and you're going higher. When you're dealing with narcissists as well, they always want to keep that cycle of supply on hand because they always burning out on people. They don't do the right things amongst people, and then they go running around into that next circle. So now here they are at the next person, doing them dirty, misusing them, mistreating them. Then here they are again. And so when they see you, when you're done with your life, when they see you, they're like, I want to go back to here because I remember I used to use the hell out of Tanya. Well, some of it I let you because I didn't consider that using. What I give, God said that He gonna give it back. It's all about what you give. You gonna give back. So some of the stuff wasn't using, but when you go saying stuff like that, you're discounted. You're out of my life. So let me see something because I'm still trying to work some stuff out so I can start a question. All right, I'm running my mouth because I never can do this. Where? Yeah, since ain't nobody on here, I can do this. Okay. I know, on something else. That's green screen. Alright. I don't know how to get rid of it now. Oh, that's funny. Let me see. Here we go. I'm not understanding. I can't never see the chat. You know what I mean? Let's see what that is. It's flesh all in my nose. It says be the first. I don't do all that. That went all up in my nose. Anyway, I'm just enjoying the Sabbath day. I usually have scripture and everything, but I don't because I know scripture from my own brain. I can remember certain things. Um, Serving the Most High is definitely needed. And people say, well, that's all you talk about. And I try to talk about other things to make my channel a little interesting. But, God is pulling on me and saying that these are the things I need you to talk about. We got to get everybody in understanding that these are the days. Excuse me. These are the days, and you got to make it work. You got to hear the word of the Lord. If you're struggling with drug addictions, that's all I can tell you. Drug, alcohol, addictions, go get some help while you can. You know, it's like 20 grand just to get that. I mean, what are you gonna do if the stock market crash? You know what I mean? What are you gonna do if you're on drugs or you have a dependency on alcohol? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna do what everybody else do? Basti said, well, if it's street drugs, can't do it. So I'm just saying, you want to be prepared. You know what I mean? And that's just it. So, understand to take it easy today, the Sabbath day. Sabbath day is 6 p.m. Friday to 6 p.m. Saturday evening. So at 6 p.m., or you want to say 6:01 is done. And pretty much, I mean, if you do, it's just like church. It's the same thing. If you don't go to church, then you're doing what I'm doing. You just read the word for yourself. You can get on YouTube, watch Pastor Dal or any of these people. I like Pastor Dal. I mean, here and now, I'll look at him. I got other people that I watch, or if I'm not doing something else, because sometimes I'd be traveling. Sometimes I go to the library and, just to get the understanding. So, you know what I mean? So, there's other people who do sermons on here, whoever you like, hear the word of the Lord. You know what I mean? Some people don't like Pastor Dow, and people will look at me and say, I know you not. I know you ain't gonna like Pastor Dow, but I've been seeing him years ago. And where he has evolved as a community person, and people thought I wouldn't like him because he practiced polygyny, and that's some things that people just don't like. But I understand biblically. But the man takes care of his community. I don't know everything to say about him. All the constant digs on him and talk about him. I don't know those things. I don't know them for myself. I hear people out on what they say about him, but for the most part, brother got his stuff together. He's always building his community, and even so, he doesn't put it out there in the open, whatever he's doing. So You know, it's just like your King David's. You know, King David didn't do everything right, but you know, the most part, he still had God's own heart. And I believe, there's different communities. If you don't like his camps from Straightway, you can go somewhere else. And I don't know all that is about the brother, but I mean, I hear him out. He's just down to earth. You know what I mean? So, why people say, why you like Pastor Dow? You? Mm-hmm. Because he take care of his community, not because I'm homeless. That don't have nothing to do with that. I ain't been homeless before, and I still supported and talk. And I never talked to him before, so just so you know, I never talked to him at all. I just chit chat on the channel. I just put like and subscribe and put a comment down. That's it. But yeah, him. I love Mother Carol. She's something else. I love people I like that kind of atmosphere. Only thing I don't know if I like is dressing like Little Prairie. I don't know about that. I still fight that. No, I don't know if I'm gonna look right. Yeah, dressing like Little House on the Prairie. Can y'all fix that? You know what I mean? Because I'm. But push comes some. You never know. But God's still working on me. Uh, that's all I'm saying. Y'all kind of look a little Amishish. Yeah. I'm a freestyle person. And I know y'all are too. I'm just saying. So I'm gonna end this chat. Um, I just was coming on to see what everybody was doing, but I saw one or two people come in. I can't really see. You know, I don't know if that's something I need to call or talk to YouTube about because I can't never see people. I don't know if I don't have enough people to see the chat. So maybe you could tell me. You know what I mean? Anywho, I'm getting off. Enjoy Saturday. I still got my midnight talking points. I didn't put it in because I actually have a title. And so, if you don't like it, I'm a free and open person. You could always, like, subscribe. I think I still got to fix it where I need to put my email out there for people who want to write me or say something to me because they don't want to say it in the chat. Because I understand, because that's how I was. I was not saying anything until I said, because I don't want it to be like going against the grain, but I got a question. So, I don't know. Uh, I might do a video, on the word, and I might just not, because I'm chilling. All right. Enjoy your Sabbath day. May God be with you and the blessings overflow and overtake you. And don't overthink things, just relax. May Most High bless you. Amen.